Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to your favorite place to get a snack. My name is Nomiverse, and welcome back to the Nomiverse. We are back with you today at the tail end of an awesome event that we just finished participating in known as Safari Week. This event was started a few years back by Blog's Pokemon and is all about hunting in one of the highest stakes area in the game. I am of course talking about the Safari Zone, or in my case, the Great Marsh. This means that not only do you need to contend with the game's shiny chance and finding the Pokemon, but also deal with the chance of not catching it once you do. Success or failure of catching the shiny Pokemon is just as important as having the encounter at all. That being said, this year's event ran from June 20th to June 29th. And yes, I know that's more than a week, but Safari's 10 days doesn't sound as good. Now, some people during this event go super hard, start at midnight on the 20th and hunt for hours each day until 11:59 p.m. on the 29th. Myself, well, as a seasoned gamer, I hunted for a decent chunk of 4 days. Life is busy, don't give me a hard time about it. For the sake of simplicity, and the fact that I only have one game where I can actually utilize the Safari Zone, my hunts all took place in the Great Marsh in Shining Pearl. Each day I went live over on Twitch. Go follow me if you haven't already. We spent the hours we had grinding out encounters, looking for anything to shine at all. Now, before we dive into the shinies I may or may not have found during the event, I want to take a chance to explain to you a little bit about how the Great Marsh works. You see, the Great Marsh itself is broken up into 6 different areas accessible by the tram in the center of the marsh. Each of these 6 areas has its own encounter table, with varying rarities of Pokemon and availability. For example, in areas 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, Azurill and Bidoof each have a 1% chance to encounter. But in Area 5, since there's no Psyduck spawn, each Azurill and Bidoof has a 5% chance to spawn. On top of their normal encounter table, the Great Marsh also has a daily rotation of Pokemon that are available by viewing them through the binoculars, which is a fancy way of saying it changes daily. All of these Pokemon have a 10% chance of spawning in whichever area they're seen. Now here's where the fun part comes in, because if you asked me on the first day that I hunted this year what that meant, I would have told you, yeah, go look in the binoculars, see if you show a daily spawn, go to that area, and that's the spawn for the day. Well, day 1 me was a little incorrect. Turns out that a few days later me was abruptly reminded what it meant. So how it really works is that every day the daily Pokemon are rolled for every area in the Great Marsh individually. So each day, areas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 will each have one Pokemon from the binoculars table. Now keep in mind, they can be duplicated across the areas. So both areas 1 and 4 can have Drapion as its daily encounter. But each of these will only have one Pokemon. This is how it came to be that I ended up hunting Skorupi each of the days that I streamed. While I may or may not have missed out on the first day or 2 of finding my targets Shroomish and Yanma. The world may never know. The last bit of info that you need is this. The Great Marsh is, well, a marsh. Or in this case, more of a bog. And one of the delightful mechanics in Gen 4 and in Gen 8 is that all of the encounter squares are not only grass, but also mud, meaning as you walk around, you have a chance to get stuck. This then takes extra steps to get unstuck. That would mean that you'd run out of steps before getting too many encounters, right? Wrong. Sweet Scent. Bring a Pokemon with Sweet Scent in your party. First slot, for time's sake, doesn't really matter. And step into the first patch of grass you see. Go to your Pokemon and use Sweet Scent. It's thrilling, high-action gameplay at its finest. But more importantly, it works. And it means you never run out of steps in the Great Marsh, so you can hunt forever. Now that I've taken probably far too long to explain how this game works, let's see what I was able to do with my 4 days in the Great Marsh. Did I find any shinies? Did I succeed or fail? Not a shiny. Not a Scorpy. Well, that was just the first day. Got a couple hundred encounters. The next day went... Boys and girls, drum roll, please. I don't even know if I picked that up. It's a non-shiny Psyduck. Darn. Well, we made it to 1,200 encounters, which means we did almost 800 encounters today. I could probably do another 10 encounters, but I'm frankly not worried about it. So. All right, it's a numbers game. I was waiting to build the tension. All right. And now we queue up our last encounter for the day. Our encounter that brings us to 2,048, which is half of full odds in this game. It's a Quagsire. It is not shiny, but it's a Quagsire. Well, you see, the important part is that I was involved. I was trying. And wait. Oh my god, that's max damage. Is this a Thursday stream? Yeah, okay. I played a different game. Sue me for playing a Game of the Year contender and loving it. Anyways, I said I had 4 days of hunting. And heading into the last day, I set aside an even longer stream than usual to give myself as much time as possible, to have as many encounters as possible. I also forgot to mention that the shiny rate of BDSP is 1 in 4096. Which is better than the Gen 3 and 4 counterparts of 1 in 8,192, but it's still an insanely low chance of encountering one. And starting the day at 2048 encounters, we were only halfway to odds, so nothing was guaranteed. And let's take a look at how it went. TikToks are easier to make, but... Oh my god! We found a shiny! We found a shiny Wooper! Hell yes! Safari 2025, we found a shiny Wooper. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. That, I'm so happy about that. Oh my gosh. Woo! Oh. Pure and utter relief that my efforts had paid off for Safari Week 2025. No matter what else happened, I could count myself as part of the group that was lucky enough to find a shiny. Without it, this video may not exist. Since it does, please remember to take a moment to like it, subscribe, leave a comment down below letting me know what your favorite shiny Safari Zone Pokemon is from any game. Now, as I mentioned earlier, finding the shiny is only half the battle. The danger of hunts in the Safari Zone and Great Marsh is that until you catch it, you'll be waiting with bated breath to see if that Pokemon flees with every action you take. I'll let you watch exactly how it unfolded after I had regained my composure. I cannot believe that we found it. It's time to start trying to catch it. This is where we live. All right, first Safari Ball. 1, 2, 3. Yes, we did it! Ah! We got it! And just like that, our first shiny found and secured. Now, with about 2,200 encounters done and only a few hours left of the event, my chances of finding another shiny were pretty low before the end of the event and my stream. But that chance is not 0, so we kept going. As we restarted our counter and kept moving forward, I want to highlight one small thing that I did this year that I found, well, probably funnier than I should have. Somewhere around day 2, I decided of all of the available Pokemon in the Great Marsh, there was one I really didn't want to get, and that was Bibarel. Not for any major reason except that I already have a couple in other games. It's an average at best shiny in my opinion, so to help ward them away, I decided to make a threat. This Bibarel needs to stop showing up. I'm gonna start throwing rocks at it. And I held true to this threat for the entire event after I declared it. Every Bibarel I encountered got at least one ball of mud thrown in its face before I ran to move on to the next encounter, or it ran away. This allowed me to make an interesting observation about how the mechanics of the Safari Zone work. So, bear with me for this technical explanation. The short version is this. Every Pokemon in the Safari Zone has a base catch and a base flee rate. When you use mud or bait, it affects that catch and flee rate, much like Growl or Leer affect your attack, defense, and other stats for Pokemon. Where when you throw a mud, the idea is this. It will increase the Pokemon's chance of wanting to run, while also increasing your chance of successfully catching it on the next ball you throw. So, high risk, high reward kind of things. The bait works similarly in that it makes the Pokemon less likely to run, but it doesn't necessarily make it easier to catch. I didn't do any testing with that. For the mud specifically, there's actually 2 conditions. There's the normal condition, like I just described, and then there's the special case where it only increases the Pokemon's chance to run. Comes with a special effect on the Pokemon and a special line of text. I thought about this way too much while going through it, and this technical explanation is far more than anyone needs, but there's a link to Bulbapedia down below that has the details of it if anyone's interested. Now that I'm done rambling about how things work again, and about how I was beating up Bibarels so they wouldn't appear, even though they're 20% in every zone in the Safari Zone, we were nearing the end of our journey when this happened. Skorupi is the rare spawn. Oh no! Shiny Bibarel! Oh, it came true! It came true! Yep. Of course, I had to find a shiny Bibarel after all the effort I put in to keep it away. But hey, them's the breaks. And a second shiny Pokemon in the Safari Zone at only 559 encounters is insanely lucky. Much like the Wooper, now it was time to see how the catch went. Well, it would. Except I asked my community on Twitter if I happened to find a shiny Bibarel, should I still throw mud at it? And, well, the vote was unanimously yes. So, take a look at how it all went down. Like, it's like, look, if it stays, I throw a ball out at it afterwards. And if it runs, it runs. So, I do need to do one thing. All right, here we go. It didn't run. All right, now we try and catch it. One, two. It didn't run. So that's one mud and one Pokeball. Look, I'm fine to catch it, okay? Like, for all the things I didn't want Bibarel, I want to catch it. It was just the one shiny that I like, of all of them, I was least concerned with getting it. but it's here now. Let's catch it. Ball number 2. 1, 2, 3. We did it. Oh my god. Whew. And that was it. We hunted for a little longer after that, but without the blessing of Lord Helix truly shining down on us, we really didn't have time or the number of encounters to find a shiny. But we had 2 successful finds and catches, a funny story about risking a shiny for the bit, and all in all, it was a great time that reminded me how good it feels to find a lower odds shiny. Because I do a lot of hunting in Scarlet and Violet, and they're kind of everywhere. Thank you for taking the time to make it to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. In the meantime and in between time, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay hungry. They're all named after. I tried to be creative with mine. I have Terraria. There's my shiny Quagsire. Woo!